to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Worcester podcast. We are a community built on love, hope, and justice. Our goal is to inspire people to take on the challenges of a changing world. Each week we'll bring you a reflection from our minister, the Reverend Aaron Payson, recorded during our Sunday service. Maybe it'll move you, challenge your thinking, or even stir up a little righteous indignation. That's all welcome here. Thanks for listening.
I intended to go to the rally yesterday. I had thought about the sign I wanted to carry, and then I didn't. I was responsible for a funeral late yesterday morning and chose to take time with the family of a beloved who was now gone. And by the time I returned, it was well into the rally, and I thought, I'm not going to be able to get within 2 miles of the place. Had I gone, I would have relished the opportunity to be in community with so many of you. How many of you went yesterday? Yeah, see, we could have had this is where we could have had an impromptu congregational meeting and solved all our problems over in the corner of Institute Park, and then gone on. Huh? Oh, how many of you went to Boston? A couple, yes. There were a couple. There you go. North Adams. Leicester. Anywhere else? Fitchburg? Barry? We had the whole area well covered. Thank you very much. And surely I would have been inspired by hippo ballerinas and pink unicorns and frogs and dinosaurs and raccoons and all manner of people. In fact, I think that we have the beginning of a new squad. And my wife said, I found a very large blow-up dinosaur costume for you. And I thought, oh, yeah. I would have, Andrew would wear it. I would have taken great comfort in being surrounded by you, by so many other friends of this congregation and in this community, and the creative gist of the signs and the slogans that so many of you held. I consoled my guilt for being absent by remembering that taking the time to honor one gone in body is an act of resistance in and of itself, as were the food pantry distribution that happened in the morning and the Garden on Team event in the afternoon. Multiple modalities to consider how we're going to help and transform our world. Multiple modalities to guard against the logic of empire that says, heed my desire. Do not tend to yourself. So I'm sorry that I missed the rally. And I know there will be others. And I'm so glad for those of you who went and those who found different ways to resist and to serve. This morning, I want to explore for a few minutes what I believe to be the essential dynamics of this resistance. Last week, I had the honor and pleasure to preach as part of the installation service of our former intern, Bo Rivers, who was installed as the 33rd minister of the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Middleborough, Massachusetts. She was a bit perplexed when she asked for my sermon title, which I told her was, What the Lighthouse Knows. And it began thusly. During her 1997 Barry Street lecture delivered before colleagues and friends in Phoenix, Arizona, the Reverend Judith Walker Riggs, now of blessed memory, related the following exchange from October 10, 1955, in a radio transcript from the United States Chief of Naval Operations. Station 1. Divert your course 15 degrees to the north to avoid collision. Station 2. Recommend you divert your course 15 degrees to the south to avoid collision. Station number 1. This is the captain of a U.S. Navy ship. I say again, divert your course. Station number 2. No. I say again, divert your course. Station 1, now aggravated beyond measure. This is an aircraft carrier, Enterprise. We are a large warship of the United States Navy. Divert your course now. Station 2, this is the Puget Sound Lighthouse. It's your call. I thought this a supreme metaphor for this moment in our country and world. A world which continues to be more energized by war than peace, a country that is becoming all too familiar with the chaos of a federal administration that thrives on cruelty and continues to court white Christian nationalists as heralds of the New World Order. What is striking to me about this exchange is the difference in tone that I hear between these two stations. With all of the bluster and increasing volume of a warship in conversation with a calm, confident other that turns out to be an historic beacon built on solid rock, which has weathered more storms and the fogs of confusion than the ship and its crew could ever imagine. Furthermore, while the ship demands obedience and conformity to what it demands based on its own inaccurate reading of the environment, the lighthouse crew matter-of-factly speaks truth, offering the opportunity to heed its warning, or not. Rather than projecting an attitude of superiority, the lighthouse simply announces its presence, and in doing so communicates one small statement, the crux of the matter. It's your call. Makes me think of a stanza in Eileen Workman's poem, which I'm so grateful that Maura Pentlarge brought to us this morning. Every time you choose presence over projection, curiosity over judgment, compassion over vengeance, you are participating in the only revolution that has ever actually worked, the one that begins inside the human heart. Of late, I've come to appreciate more and more the contributions of Reverend Cameron Trimble to our public discourse on the changes and challenges happening between religion and faith communities in our country. Her words have often spoken to me during these dark times, and much like Eileen Workman, she points to this revolutionary moment of human awakening. There's a reason, she says, why so many of us feel disoriented. Not just because of what's happening around us, but because of what is happening to us. We are being conditioned to shut down. Slowly, steadily, and almost imperceptibly. The barrage of cruelty, confusion, spectacle, and spin has a cumulative effect. It wears on our capacity to feel and to care, to respond with presence rather than reflex. We are being trained through repetition to expect harm and then to normalize it. I had a conversation this morning with one of our own who had an experience yesterday at the rally that surprised her when she looked upon strangers dressed as ministers but had a moment of fear because they looked like they were going to do something other than what the protest was demanding. And she's not alone. All of us have those moments. I call it the hypervigilance of being in a traumatic era. We are taught that everything is a potential danger. But that is not how we should continue to exist. Cameron Trimble continues, that is the danger of this moment. Not just political collapse or climate unraveling or in the erosion of public trust, but the numbing of our souls. To resist this tendency, Trimble argues, is to turn to tenderness. Tenderness, she writes, then is not a weakness, it is resistance in its most radiant form. It's how we stay soft without surrendering. It's how we walk through the world with eyes open and our hearts intact. As my friend and colleague, Reverend Tracy Blackman, reminds us, prophetic resistance is only possible for those who still dream. You must be able to dream, to see justice in the midst of it all. Tenderness is the soil of that dreaming, says Cameron. It is the part of us that refuses to be numbed by cruelty or conforming to despair. When we reach for one another with care, when we peacefully protest, offer a gentle word, hold silence with someone in pain or in grief, we resist the empire's logic of separation. We bear witness to the deeper truth that love, in its fiercest form, often shows up as gentleness. Now I understand more than ever the importance of pink unicorns and fabulous frogs and hippos and tutus at protests and rallies and marches. These are some of the visible metaphors for tenderness in the midst of a company that could and has become consumed by its own rage and hurt. Pema Chodron, the Buddhist abbess and teacher, once reminded her readers that the word for loving kindness in Sanskrit is maitri. Maitri is also translated as unconditional friendliness. Next time you see one of our beloved creatures at a protest, remember they're there for a reason, and that reason is to remind us not to be consumed. Which is why I thought it important to post the words of Laura Jean Truman on my Facebook page this week. She writes in the form of a prayer, "Keep my anger from becoming meanness. Keep my sorrow from collapsing into self-pity. Keep my heart soft enough to keep breaking. Keep my anger turned toward justice, not cruelty. Remind me that all of this, every bit of it, is for love. Keep me fiercely kind." The theological foundation of fierce kindness might best be understood as awakening to mutuality. And here I have the work of our Soul Matters team, who provide us with so many resources every month. Their words seem particularly apropos. Mutuality, they note, is the spiritual practice of honoring interdependence, recognizing that compassion is not something we offer from above, but something we live within. In Unitarian Universalist theology, mutuality pushes against hierarchies of giver and receiver, teacher and learner, saved and sinner. It asks us to show up with humility, to listen as much as we speak, and to let ourselves be changed by our relationships. Compassion becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a way of being together that acknowledges we are all sometimes in need and all sometimes able to help. In pastoral care, justice work, and spiritual community, mutuality helps us resist saviorism and control. It roots compassion in dignity and respect, inviting us to remember that we do not fix one another. We accompany one another. Mutuality turns compassion into relationship and relationship into transformation. In the coming months and years, there will surely be more challenges, more marches, and yes, more demonstrations. And Lord, I hope our fluffy friends show up. And while our presence, you and I, will be called upon again to witness to the possibility of beloved community in the face of all that divides and subjugates us, let us remember that passion is best articulated as compassion, and that we are more a lighthouse than a warship, and that we have the capacity to be always fiercely kind. Amen, and blessed be.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're just crossing our path, either new to this congregation or curious about Unitarian Universalism, check out our website, uucworcester.org. You'll find lots of information there about our beliefs, the 8 guiding principles, religious exploration for children and adults, our social action initiatives, and the many groups we offer to help people connect and have fun. And consider joining us, in person or online, on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. We'd love to meet you.